It's like a pig in shit, isn't it? He's in his element. Like a what? Pig in shit. You're in your elements here. You get a job for doing the ghost walk.
You'll get soaked, Sean!
Come closer. Come closer.
No, you're scary.
Take a turtle.
Turn me over, I'm stuck.
Gather round. Gather round. Come in from the back. Come towards the light.
You're not going skiing, are you?
Close your eyes. Listen to the sound of the river as it rushes along the dark, cold riverbed. Lose yourself in that sound. Our first tale today will transport you back hundreds of years to a time of unrest, a time of bloodshed, and a time when the abbey, which now lies crumbled before us, stood in a blazing glory and an earthly memorial to the wonder of God. Despite the majesty of the place, despite its heavenly beauty, something was rotten at its core. Tales were spreading across the local villages of strange figures seen dancing in the abbey at night, casting grotesquely distorted images, like Sean, on the fine stained glass. Night after night, the figures would appear, shadows in the orange glow of flames.
Have the monks been at communion wine?
One cold October evening in the haze of a bright full moon out, 4 hardy village men decided to investigate. Hearts pounding in their chests, knives in their hands, they headed tentatively toward the abbey. As they approached, a blood-curdling sound
Ah! I'm good at sound effects.
echoed through the trees. The sound somewhere between a scream and a howl.
Oh, it's fun then.
Rang with a terror passed down through generations, a terror that stirred a fear within the hearts of the 4 brave men. As they made their way up the steps of the abbey, Martin was the 4th in line. Slowly, as if touched by some shuddering breath, the flames of the men's torches died. Out of the silence came a growling, bestial voice. Enter upon this blackest of nights, all of those with the darkest of hearts. All that you ask shall be yours. On this eve, when the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest, give me your soul. With this final word, the great oaken doors of the abbey creaked open.
Yeah, it's good.
The sight which met the 4 valiant villagers is said to have sent their very souls spiralling into a delirium that you and I can only try to imagine. Hung from the ceiling were the 4 rotting carcasses of long dead animals, their decomposing flesh casting shadows across the sacred hall. It was impossible to tell the breeds of these animals. In fact, if they were animals, so matted was their fur and so mangled were their skeletons.
Ooh.
There was the disturbing feeling that these creatures had not been set in their resting places whilst already dead. Their men cast their disbelieving eyes about the room, bearing unwilling witness to horror after horror after horror. The walls of this heavenly place were smeared in glistening blood, black, clotted, enticing blood. Finally, the delirious eyes of the men met with the most horrific sight yet. A perfect circle of hooded figures, their inky black cowls sinisterly sitting over their faces. From them came the same blood-curdling howl that the men had been drawn by. Around this circle danced 4 women, Sarah, Julie, Nicola, Fran. Scantily dressed in rotting fur and rags.
Oh dear.
Women writhed and chanted, weaving their way through the full circle. The next morning, the 4 men were found hanging in the nearby trees.
Oh dear.
Soon after, the abolition of the monasteries began. Many say that this occurred not because of a feud with Rome, but an attempt to quash Satan's grasp on the lustful and evil monks that were rife in the church at that time.